right, welcome to this week's edition of Turkey Talk Radio with Outdoors Dan, brought to you by the fine folks at Rupert's Roost and Peace Turkey Calls. Hope everyone's having a good Wednesday all across the good old US of A. Thanks for everybody listening on the Outdoor Call Radio app. After the show, don't go anywhere, don't sign off, because I'm going to have some special details just for the people listening on the app right now. I'd like to say hi to our Facebook audience. Thank you for everybody for watching us on Facebook Live on the Outdoor Call Radio app Facebook page. We've got a lot to do. All right, we're going to head on over to, we got everything going. I got the man, the myth, the legend, my buddy Larry McCoy from Respect the Game TV, and he is on the air. How you doing, Larry?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just getting amped up. Hearing that first gobble.
Yeah, I got to tell you, this year's, I don't know if it's because I'm 60 now or what, but it just seems like this year's coming way too fast already.
Oh, time flies, man. I'll tell you. I mean, it seems like, literally we just started deer season and we're already talking about turkeys. It's like,
Yeah.
wow.
Well, you are all over the place, so. And we had a pretty good deer season. Ryan did well. You did well. I got one in Kansas, and I will thank you again for sitting with me for like 10 days in a row in the rain.
In the rain, that's right.
In the rain. What's up, Scotty Mueller in Oklahoma? Good to see you. Pete the Doman Ariati. How you doing? Rick Seeker, thank you for watching today. That was Larry, that was just a strange rut this year. I know we're going to talk turkeys here, but that was one of the weirdest ruts I've seen in a long time. It took forever to get opportunities for me. I mean, you did well, quick, but it was weird.
Well, we still hunting pretty hard. I mean, we just it was weird. It was weird though. I think weather had a lot to do with it. Like you said, it was raining. Shoot, about every day we were there, and traxing through and just grinding it out pretty much. And obviously good things come. For if you put the work in.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I just appreciate you helping me film. So it was fun. Donovan had a Donovan.
I still have all my hair. I still have all my hair too.
Yeah, I don't know how.
See that?
Yeah.
It finally grew back.
Yeah, he got his hair back, and he didn't hurt anything. Just pulling me out of that ditch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know,
so there you go.
My back just healed too.
It was muddy, man.
It was muddy.
I couldn't get up the hill pushing that deer. Rocco, what's going on, Steve Rocco? Rocco says, look at that handsome beard.
Yeah. That.
He likes your beard.
Yeah. Look, I got a couple polka dots in there, it looks like, dude.
Yeah, you do. Well, we Triple H did well for us, and we had a good time down there, and you did pretty well everywhere you went, actually. But turkey season's here. I was so glad to get that email that we all drew Kansas. I was a little worried about that. The first time they have non-resident draw in Kansas, and we all got lucky and drew. That was nice.
Yeah, for sure. I was a little bit concerned. Anytime they say, you got to draw for your tag, it's like, oh crap. There's a chance I'm not going to be able to go. So. But no, we're thankful that finally, we got drawn and looking forward to this spring. Donovan's place out there, Triple H. I mean, it's one of a kind. There's literally, I mean, he's got a lot of ground, and that ground has a lot of animals on it. So, and it's just a matter of too. I mean, cool place to strategize and learn about turkeys too. I mean, Donovan's really good. I mean, he's a good hunter as well. So, I mean, when he says, hey, there's birds on that creek or whatever, there's a good chance there's going to be birds on that creek.
Yeah, it's always been one of my favorite places to hunt. I love hunting Missouri and Iowa. I've hunted, several other states. I haven't been out to Ohio, or I've hunted Nebraska a couple times. But between Connie's cooking and listening and talking with Hilly and just sharing some time with Donovan and everybody else in camp, I think that's always going to be one of my favorite places to hunt.
For sure. The cool thing about it too is because, I mean, if you haven't killed a Rio, it's a good place to go out, if you want to get a Rio. And we all know, like I said, if he says there's birds on that creek, if they're not there, you're going to hear them because they seem to be pretty vocal and they respond. And it's just always a good time.
Yeah. Jackie, how you doing, Jackie Nicole? Good to see you. Haven't talked to you in a while. Good to see you on here. Thank you for listening. Dan Murphy. Lieutenant Dan's calling in on there.
Dan Murphy.
Yeah, Hank on Revelton. Hank, we'll see you on Saturday. Thank you, buddy. We got some stuff to talk about. Steve Rocco says, "Looks like you're a piebald with that beard."
You had to go there, didn't you, Rocco? Rocco, the Italian stallion.
Yeah, that's what he said. The old tractor trammer.
I'm told you, just for men. I mean, sometimes you got to put a little color in it.
Yeah.
Give it a little attitude. Get a little attitude.
Rocco said, "Murph, make sure you get some hair. Get a hair piece for the show. Bald isn't a good. Oh, get Rupert a hair piece. Well, that's you
Oh,
can say that, Rocco. I'm not going to say that about Todd.
looks like Dan needs some glasses. He can't see the he can't
I
see the
can't.
screen.
You know what? My near vision's starting to go, but I made it to 60. You know, so hey,
Mm-hmm.
I can see a
Yeah,
little bit. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, hey, turkey tactics. Let's talk turkey.
yeah.
It's going to be we're going to be out at Donovan's that first the 8th, 9th, 10th, somewhere around there in April. What are you going to be looking for? I mean, they should be separating by then, I would think, especially if we get any warmer weather like we had. But what do you start looking for this time of year wherever you're starting to plan your hunts?
I mean, this time of year when the season's not open, I'm literally just looking for the congregation of birds. And then if you don't have history with the property or whatever, that's very vital to know. Okay, there's birds here right now because if you are seeing toms grouped up, there's a good chance that there's going to be a few birds there. Later in the year. So I do think that the right now just finding the birds is what's most important because it could change day by day too. As it warms up, fields start to green up, start to see some more vegetation. The birds start to feel it.
Yeah. Hey, scouting cameras, not just for deer anymore either. I mean, I've been getting some really good turkey scouting cameras, and you and I both have Tacticams out places. That to me, that's an invaluable scouting tool.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's changed the game.
Yeah.
Because I mean, sitting around, being able to lay your eyes on is vitally important. But if you can have a camera working when you're not there, I mean, that could definitely answer a lot of questions and save you some nights of not seeing nothing. So it's vitally important and has changed the game when it comes to scouting because, like I said, knowing that there's birds on your property and historically, I mean, knowing your property year after year is important because a lot of times there's pieces of property that I don't even touch earlier part of the season because the birds necessarily aren't there. Maybe where they're at, the grass isn't grown up as tall, so and where I'm hunting, it lacks vine. So the latter part of the season is a lot of times when the birds will show up. So always, keeping that in the back of your head is always a good thing because I've struggled some turkey seasons early, and having that knowledge in the back of my head for the latter part of the season has bailed me out a lot of times.
Yeah, well, you do a good job at that. Becky Whitaker, good to see you, Becky. I hope you're doing well. Jerry Hall, that is Larry Mack, the man, the myth, the legend. That is him. Hey, Kent, good to see you. Squinting like you're counting ants. That's right, I am, Rocco. And the thing is, I can get readers, but you're still stuck with that face. Let's see. Let's see. I'm just kidding, Steve. I love you. Just made it to Illinois. The boys from Pennsylvania are in Illinois. Look out, Jeff. Good to see you, Dirk Stark. Larry's beard is looking a little darker. What are you up to, Larry?
Mm-hmm. Well, I get a lot of comments about my beard. Look at
Yeah,
it. I let it grow out just a little bit. And
yeah,
look. I told you.
yeah.
Sometimes you got to put a little spice in your life. I
Yeah.
mean,
We got. Is that the real McCoy? Yes, yes, Jeff Gass. That's the real McCoy. I'll remember that, Steve. Steve, I said that with love and affection. If you can't get over it, you will.
I would
So
definitely remember that, Steve. I would get him back if I were you.
yeah, that's all right. Hey, let's see if you're squint. So let's talk a little bit early season. It could be depending on where you go. I mean, things can change in a heartbeat when they start separating out and stuff. But what do you like to do? I know you're a firm believer in reading the temperature of a bird, but when you're running your Rupert's calls, I'm sorry, Rupert's Roost and Peace turkey calls. And you know why they're called Rupert's Roost and Peace turkey calls, right, Larry?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Stop by the booth 8:15 at the Iowa Deer Classic, everybody, and ask Todd Rupert why they're called Todd Rupert's Roost and Peace turkey calls. And half an hour later, you're going to love the conversation.
Yeah.
So we love it. Better bring floaties to turkey camp because you're going to be swimming. Okay, Steve. Thank you.
hmm
Um, strategies change because sometimes you got to call softer. Every bird's going to be acting a little bit different. But let's just start with decoys. What do you like to do first season? I mean, I know you love using that DSD Strutter first part of the season.
Yeah. First part of the season I do because primarily I'm bow hunting. And one, I can really, it's visible. You know, the grass is shorter a lot of times, and you get a lot of motion in there with the wind, and with in junction with, you know, I could use a bedded hen decoy at that time because it's visible as well. So the decoys are visible from a long ways. So I don't have to set up super tight to the roost because I know that if it's early in the season, these birds probably ain't as pressured and they're more susceptible to coming to, you know, more than one bird. I guess if I have a flock out there of some sort and that strutter decoy, then I'm there's a good chance that they're going to come to it. But as far as calling, man, I just try to mimic if the birds if the birds are sounding off that morning. I mean, I'm gonna be right with them. You got to put a little emotion into your calling a lot of times to get them to respond. And so if you hear them hens squawking, I mean, you need to squawk a little bit harder. Get them pumped up and get them excited because you know they're not gonna if I'm sitting here talking monotone to you, I'll sit here right here and listen, not move all day long. But if I start yelling at you, inflicting some emotion, most chance I'm gonna have to react. So no different with a turkey. No different with a turkey.
Yeah, Chuck, good to see you, Chuck Knutson or Kuntzman. I hope I'm saying that right, Chuck. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you listening. You know what? Tone and cadence to me, Larry, is more important than volume.
Well, just depends, I think. But it's very important. Volume can be strong, like out in Kansas, for instance. Kansas, it's wide open. I mean, I'm going to hammer on a box call if I have to, just because I'm hunting a Rio. A lot of times they are flocked up. There's more than one bird there, and I want to sound like multiple birds. So I may use a box call in conjunction with the diaphragm or a pop call or whatever. I'm going to sound like multiple birds if I can, and then I'm going to read that bird's language as they hit the ground, as their feet hit the ground, and they're out in the field. Once they become visible to me, I'm watching kind of every move they make based upon how they respond to the call. Even the hens, because I mean, a lot of people, it's tough to call a hen away from a tom, and 100%. But if you can get a hen headed your direction, it's definitely going to help quite a bit because I'm a firm believer that the hen doesn't always have to leave the tom. If they can come your direction and they get in that zone with a strutter decoy with a fan, a lot of times they just can't take it. It just their emotions change and they want to go run that other tom off in fear of them taking their hen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know where I was messing up for a long time is I was calling too loud. And when I started making those calls softer, not as loud, I got better response. So, don't be afraid of making a mistake, folks, because Larry I think, would agree with this. Some of the worst turkey calls you will ever hear in your life are real hens. So don't
Mm-hmm.
ever, I mean, Paul and Ryan laugh at my stuff all the time when they edit it. So, I don't know how many times I've been the butt of the joke on my calling ability, but I can still get them in luckily, and just like Larry said, just read the bird and see what's going on. And box calls, I don't think there's a better box call that you should have in your pack than a box call, Larry, because it doesn't matter if it's windy. When things start greening up, the timber starts getting thicker. That call will not travel farther in the timber as it does early season when everything's open. And that box call is something that everybody, I don't care what skill level they are, can run it.
Yeah, I mean it's a vital tool for sure, no matter where you're at. Just because, like I said, depending on the terrain, like I mentioned Kansas earlier, it's open, so I can hit that box call and it's going to carry. I may finish a bird with a box call. Here in Missouri in the hills, I may be more closed in, and so I might hit that box call to locate a bird because I know it's going to sound off. I know that the call's going to be loud. It's going to echo through the timber, and then once I get a bird to respond, if then I may switch over to a mouth call or whatever, as once I see how that bird's going to react just by listening to him.
Yeah. Hey, Kurt Geyer, working class bow hunters podcast. Or I guess we'll see them at the Deer Classic this week, huh? They'll be there, huh?
Yes, we will for sure.
Yeah, they're Kurt and the boys. Good to see them. Chuck says that's his problem last year. He was calling too loud and needed to get softer. Hey, that's okay, Chuck. It's a learning experience. I learn something every year. I mean, I've been hunting birds for 30 years, and I get humbled still. Hey, Chris Hall, good to see you. Larry has never killed a turkey. Kurt Geyer said.
I'll leave it up to Kurt to say that.
Yeah, I think he's killed a few there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, 5:14 and some change here on the Outdoor Call Radio Network. I'm not going to take any breaks today. This show is brought to you by the fine folks at Rupert's Roost and Peace Turkey Calls, Flex Fletch. I want to thank everybody at Flex Fletch, Pam and Dirk and everybody. Grizzly Coolers, Tacticam, Reveal by Tacticam, and Game Eyed Clothing and Itasca Footwear. Thank you for helping us do Turkey Talk Radio. We're just going to keep this rolling because I hardly ever get Larry on anymore. He's so busy. Patrick, hey, Patrick O'Connor, hey, good to see you. We'll look forward to seeing you this weekend. Kurt's laughing. Uh, he said, Kurt said,
I bet it is.
come on by booth 912, mention the Outdoor Call Radio, and he'll load you up with free swag. He didn't say that, folks. I'm just kidding. Go see the boys at Working Class at booth 912. They've always got stuff going on. Larry Mack, you and Ryan do some stuff that I just absolutely love. I'm just not talented enough because I self film. You got Ryan running with you a lot, but and Paul I think Paul does an exceptional job on the show of self filming too. But you guys don't even use a blind half the time. You get out there and get tucked in a cedar tree or a bush, and I mean the footage is phenomenal. And when you guys did those decaps 2 years ago, and you were sitting out there in layout blinds, everybody said there's no way. And then I still think that's some of the most incredible footage I've ever seen on TV.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, over the years, I've learned quite a bit of how they respond. Obviously, we were going to try that and do it. I did it years ago, and then decided, we're going to do it again. And I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I was a little bit uncertain about, hey, is this going to work or not? But you don't know till you try. So we went out and tried, and through that whole week, I learned a ton about what to do and what not to do as far as and the biggest thing is being patient. Once the birds get settled in on the decoys, you'd be surprised at what you can get away with. Yes, they can see great, but whenever they're so fixed on the decoys, you can maneuver. You just got to watch what you're doing and really watch the bird, and know when to draw and when not to draw. That's the other benefit if you're bow hunting turkeys, to a strut or decoy. When you have a fan on there, if they are at the decoy, most likely they're going to circle that fan. So at some point they're going to be behind that fan, which gives you an opportunity to raise your bow or draw your bow, and just basically an opportunity to move to get in position. So that's definitely a benefit. Another reason why I use the strut and decoy when I'm bow hunting. But I will use like the DSD mating motion pair and just the Jake decoy, depending on the terrain or if I know where I'm going to set up as well.
Yeah, I was just looking at some of my old hunts when I first moved over with you guys. Remember a couple years ago, that first year, and remember how windy we had that really bad windstorm in Donovan's, and we were out there and it was like 25, 30 mile an hour winds. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And I was
Mm-hmm.
down in Ellsworth filming, and that's where I missed with the decap because it was
Yeah.
remember that? I actually just put that up on Facebook, but that's still one of my favorite hunts because I mean, that to get them in that close and try to do a headshot with 20, 25 mile an hour winds, that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, it's that's the thing about out there. I mean, the wind can be your friend out there too. But there's that same year that I shot the one out of the layout blind was those birds. We sat there for 2 hours and the birds were 200 yards. We knew they were there. We were calling, but it was so windy that the birds couldn't hear us. So
Yeah,
I literally got up out there and went and got the decoy and had to show them the decoy from across the creek, calling, calling, and then had to back up and run over and
yeah,
sit down and then they ended up working over to us. So sometimes you've got to be versatile because and make stuff happen. If something's not going right, just a lot of people just want to get up and move, but before you do that, a lot of times be very conscious of what's just because the bird's not gobbling doesn't mean he's not close. So don't move real fast, move slow, assess the situation and look around to make sure and then ease up. Don't just jump up and say we're moving because I can tell you, I've made that mistake several times. And next thing you know, as Todd Rupert would say, they'd be high necking it across the field. Because trust
yeah.
me, when Todd calls, I see a lot of high necking.
Yeah, that's funny. Becky says she likes to use a Slater box call. I'm not good with a mouth call. I'm going to take my boss friend Pastor for the first time turkey hunting. Turkey hunting for the first time. He's from South Africa, bow hunting. That is glad to keep learning about how to get the birds in. We'll stop by the booth this weekend. Please do, Becky. We'd love to see you.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, stop by. I would love to talk to you about it. And if that's what you're comfortable, the calls trust me, you can definitely call turkey all the way in with any of those calls. It's just a matter of, like I said, reading the bird And there are some things to look for that we go over, just stop by the booth, and I'd be more than happy. And Dan, I know would too. We'd be able, to talk to you about it and just let you know, because I can tell you what not to do as well, because I've tried it and I've messed up several times,
Well, we've all
and
met. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so we could get into some of those stories, Dan.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I got a lot of mess ups. I got 30 years of mess ups. Daniel says, "Can't wait to see you guys this weekend to get some pointers." Dan, come out. We'd love to see you. Working class bow hunters decided to hang with you boys this weekend. We're going to be glad to see you guys too. I'm going to see. I wonder if he's got that new mustache stuff going on. Remember that the mustache in a can or whatever. What was
Doug,
that? Yeah, Dougie. Did that
Doug's
ever come
always
out?
Doug's mustache is always on point. It's
Uh,
always on point.
Chuck says, "Love all the knowledge. Turkey hunting is probably my most challenging season." Chuck, that's why you keep going after them, man. Let's see, 520 and some change. So, Larry, you taught me a really good tip 2 years ago, and I'll always be grateful for this because we all like keep taking our fans. You actually take your fans apart and then use what's that stuff you use? The mold stuff.
Bondo,
Bondo, and
Bondo.
you Bondo them back. I've been using fan lock this year, and last
Hmm.
year I boraxed them. But one of the things that I was doing wrong for the last 25, 26 years is I was cutting the cover feathers over off the tail fan. I was just using the tail fan. And you told me, Dan, don't do that because you tell them why is that important to leave those cover feathers on?
Yeah,
That's
so
that
a
big
lot,
ball of
with
the big ball of feathers down by the turkey's butt.
yep, for sure. And so if I take those off, and first of all, like fan lock, I can't say enough good things about that, especially if you want to mount your bird. We're talking about or mount your fan or whatever and put it on the wall. It's probably one of the cleanest and most effective ways to do it. When we say bondo, I actually take and I bondo it mainly it's for so I have a little weight on it for the wind and everything else, so it's not just blowing all over the place. So when I put it on my decoy, I want to make sure it looks as real as possible. So with that being said, what Dan's talking about is with those butt feathers, I will take and actually hot glue those or leave them on the fan and hot glue them on the backside just like a regular bird. The reason for that is because not every morning, early in the morning, is it windy or anything. So one thing that it will do, if you do have a slight breeze, you'll see those feathers floating around. So it's just another piece of realism that could make or break that bird coming into your decoy or not. And I feel like that it has made a difference in several of my hunts over the years. Just for those super calm mornings, the birds are fired up. They see them, you see them off in the distance at about 80 yards, and they're sitting there. They sit there. They haven't moved all morning. They're not doing anything. I know everybody can relate to that. You feel like you're throwing every call you can at them, but not moving. And then all of a sudden, you may see the decoy turn a little bit, and they see a little bit of motion. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen that lead bird just break and just start walking right at. Once they see that, and they know that it's a real bird.
Absolutely. Well, I can tell you flat out, it made a difference on. Well, you and I were hunting, and then I went back. Where was the place that we hunted out there by Dan Haynes? Well, I can't remember that farm's name, but we were hunting down some other farm, and we split up because you were going to grab Brian and do something else, and then I went up to where that buck we were after that one buck. You know what I'm talking about on the ridge where the horses are.
Oh yeah, yeah, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah,
Can't think of the name of it.
I got one of your fans and it was super windy and I just hit my box call. I wasn't there 30 minutes and we saw him coming the road across the road down
Hmm.
on the other side
Yep.
of the quarry. And I hit
Hmm.
that box call and I mean I had a tom and I mean he came around and once he saw those cover feathers moving, he was in. I mean, I could hear him spitting and drumming the whole way in. I mean, if I wouldn't have had that movement, I don't think because remember how they were so spooky because it was so windy. But I think
Yep.
those cover feathers made the difference, Larry.
And I'll tell you the thing too is with those feathers, don't be afraid. I mean, you can get a hot glue gun cheap. If you've taken a bird or whatever, don't be afraid to get a Ziploc bag if you want to pull some feathers out. Could be some breast feathers, some of the under feathers, and just put them in a Ziploc bag and save them. Don't be afraid to put hot glue a couple of those on your hen decoy either out there because it's no different. I mean, if you add just a little bit of realism from a distance, those turkeys are scout. I mean, they got keen eyesight, so they're going to size the situation up. Everything that looks real you got a better chance of them coming into to you to present an opportunity for you. And that's how I look at it, and that's kind of the mindset I took. So even my hen decoys, I may put a couple places where just there's a feather that I know is going to blow in the wind, and stick up over the top so they can see it moving, and it seems to be working for me. Not saying that a bird's going to come in every time, but I do think your chances do get higher.
Well, if I remember right, you did that on that preening hen decoy last year. You glued a couple of feathers where she's got her head tucked in preening,
Yep.
and that worked because I mean
Yeah.
you yeah they were
Hmm.
running across the field to you when they saw that.
Yep.
Hey,
Hmm.
Naked Buckhead, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for watching tonight. I appreciate that. He'll be out there at the Classic too. All right, Larry Mack, we got 5 minutes left. We got a big deal going on at the Iowa Deer Classic, folks. Respect the Game TV, the Outdoor Call Radio, and Rupert's Roost and Pete Turkey Calls are all going to be in a row, 3 booths in a row. And I'm going to have a big giveaway. If you come out and see Todd and you get a call, I got a Dave Smith Strutter decoy. We're gonna raffle or draw that off this weekend. So I don't care if you buy a mouth call, a pot call, friction call, box call, whatever. If you do that, you're in the drawing to get that decoy and some Rupert's Roost and Peace turkey calls. We also have a couple other things. If you stop by the Outdoor Call Radio booth, you can, if you show me the app or download the app, I've got a couple different packages. I got a Fourth Arrow tripod, fluid head, Dave Smith hen decoy, and a Rupert's Roost and Peace turkey call package. Nice deal. I got that to give away, and I know you got some stuff you're going to be doing at the RTG booth too, right, Larry?
Yep, yeah, we do have some stuff there, but before we and come by and see it, because also I'll be doing seminars on deer decoy setup and versatile setups for bow hunting as well. So I'd love to see you at the seminar as well. But yeah, more importantly, just come right by and talk to us at the booth. If you got questions, don't hesitate to ask anything. There's no dumb question at all, because trust me, uh, I like learning from other people as well. And there's probably a lot of stuff that that I don't. So we're all hunters. So
Yeah,
if you got a
everybody.
question, ask.
Everybody's going to get a chance to meet the man, the myth, the legend, and I don't know if a lot of folks know this, but Donovan's getting inducted into the Hunting Hall of Fame this fall as in the outfitting category. So Donovan Huell and Lori will be there, so you get a chance to meet Donovan, who we always talk about at Triple H.
Yep,
So
for sure.
he'll be hanging out. Aaron DeMoss, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you.
Before we get off here, Dan, I want to tell a story about Rupert's real quick,
Yeah,
and
you got
this
two
is how
minutes.
our partnership kind of went out to the Chico show, and there's this guy over there sanding on calls and everything. He's over there squawking on calls, and I was like, man, I think I'm gonna go run those calls, see, because and there's no joke about it. I mean, you could call turkeys in with about any call on the market, but I've ran them all. So I went over to his booth and started running calls. I was like, man, these calls run pretty dang nice. I mean, they're super easy to run. And I kept going back over there, and I was like, Dan, you need to go run those calls. I'm telling you.
That's exactly not how it happened. Larry and I got to this show. We said hi to Chris and everybody, and then Larry heard turkey calls, and I didn't see him for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Well, it was, but I did come over and get you. I was like,
No,
those calls run now. I said,
I,
man, who's
he
this
was.
Rupert guy?
Yeah. You know what? Of all the things that we got to do going to Pennsylvania and doing that show and stuff, meeting Todd and getting to work with him was probably one of the nicest things.
Yeah,
I enjoy working with Todd. He's a good guy.
100%. And that's what I was going to say. Just because, but they're solid calls. His craftsmanship's great, but more importantly, calls that are easy to run. So if you're a beginner or you're an experienced turkey hunter, it doesn't matter. I mean, they're easy to run, and they've definitely delivered results for us. So I'm super pumped about using those calls for sure, and being involved in about partnering with such a great guy. But so yeah, and I'm glad to see him make a trip to the Midwest and the Rupert's team. Excited to see them, spend some time with them as well.
Well, we'll have more stories because we're going out to Pennsylvania and hunt with them this spring, so that's going to be fun. Chuck, I wish you was close enough to come to the show too. Hopefully, we'll catch you on here again, Chuck. If you got any questions, let Larry and I know. Larry, I got about 30 seconds here. Tell everybody where they can get a hold of you, or more where they can find Respect the Game TV.
Yeah, anywhere on social media, YouTube, you can go to Respect the Game TV. Make sure you subscribe to our page. It's we got a lot of unseen content that shows up there, and then Instagram, you can Respect the Game TV, and Facebook, or you can follow my personal pages, Larry McCoy 15 or Larry McCoy on Facebook. So
There you go. We'll have Larry on again. We're gonna be rolling over in Pennsylvania and some other stuff. So we'll do another one. If you got questions, just let us know. And I'll we're actually Larry will probably be on with me Saturday morning. We're gonna do the show live from the Iowa Deer Classic. So if
Yep.
you got questions, just send them to me and I'll make sure we answer. Any pure whitetail at the show? Jerry, not this year. I talked to Josh and Grant. Maybe next year. They are thinking about coming back. I did have that conversation. Lieutenant Murphy, are we talking about the same Todd? Yeah, we're talking about that. Hey, I gotta go, everybody. Aaron, thank you. Nick, thank you. Brad, Willie, Larry, Mack, thanks, buddy. We'll see you when you get up here. I appreciate you. Don't go anywhere if you're listening on the app. I've got some special stuff to tell you. Everybody on Facebook, Larry, tell everybody good night.
Good night. Thanks for having me on, Dan.
All
See
right,
you in
buddy.
Iowa.
All right, man. I'll see you, buddy. Thanks, everybody. It's going to wrap it up for Turkey Talk Radio. I want to thank our fine folks at Rupert's Roost and Peace Turkey Calls. I want to thank Slim Knox County Whitetails. We got a big turkey contest coming up, and Chris donated a hunt for that. Gearhead, DSD, Flex Fletch, Grizzly, Tacticam, Reveal, Game Hide, and all those other fine folks that help us do the show. I'll tell you more about that later. Larry Mack, I'll see you, buddy. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you. Take care.
All right. Goodbye, everybody on Facebook. I'll talk to you soon.